He's your fave Unk. Is he better than Unk Nunky? Who is the uncle in this story who's been turned into a statue? Hello, YouTube. We're back to read some more of The Patchwork Girl of Oz, which is book number 7 in the Wizard of Oz series. And we read the first 5 chapters on Tuesday. And we're horrified? Mildly horrified? Do you think that's fair to say, you guys? A little bit horrified? For context, we hate read these. We read them with smoldering hate in our heart, but we have fun with it. Oh gosh, mute. Yeah, but don't worry. We space them out with other books that are actual, good, solid literature. Curiosity is that's totally fine. I'm actually very open to questions about it. Diomedes, so totally fine. Yeah, I like dispelling the myths and such. So, smoldering hate in your heart, yeah. For L. Frank Baum. Hi Loki, thank you for the 100 biddies. Thank you so much. Oh man, we've got this the bingo card up. We checked off 2 in our first reading. Horrors Beyond Comprehension, which, I'm sorry, Patchwork Girl, but you were the horror beyond comprehension, or at least the illustrator's vision. I'm your favorite narrator. My voice narrates your internal monologue now? Damn. That's wild. I hope it does a good job. Some time for some Frank Baum L's, yeah. And we got the new talking animal introduced, which is a glass cat. It's not a meat cat. It's a cat made out of glass. A little bit more than mildly horrified, yeah. So, quick reminder, if you want to, we'll be live on the YouTube channel for the reading segment. We've been on Twitch for, oh gosh, an hour and 40 minutes already, and we will continue on Twitch after the reading segment. But if you want to or are able to open up the YouTube channel in like another window or another tab, it does actually help with watch hours. So, you know, no pressure, totally fine if you don't want to, but just letting people know. Because that was news to me when I started researching this, and I was like, damn, that's great. Yes, there is, honestly, it seems to have some pretty horrendous racial undertones. We already knew that Baum is a misogynist, which is why it was on our bingo card. I feel like this is the first book where he's been like racist like this. Is really appalling. But I'm hoping it's not gonna continue, because we're taking the Patchwork Girl away from her slave masters. What the fuck, man? And I'm hoping that she learns, that she doesn't have to go back there. How do you misgender someone? Okay, it's a bit of we're being a bit tongue-in-cheek with that, but it's because when Bill the chicken was introduced, Dorothy is just very staunchly like, you can't be named Bill. You're a girl. Your name is Billina. And she's like, my name's Bill. And Dorothy's like, not anymore. And then there's like another time where they're meeting someone else and Bill's like, hi, I'm Bill. And she's like, that's not your name. It's Billina. Yeah, Dorothy's horrible. We don't know if Dorothy's going to be in this story or not. The main character of this story is a munchkin boy named Ojo, who has lived alone in these woods, separate from the rest of all of Munchkin civilization, with his uncle, who he calls Unk Nunky, who only speaks like one or at most two words at a time. So this kid has been growing up in like isolation. Well, his uncle sits there and doesn't do anything to support their family. They have one bread tree that grows loaves of bread. And Ojo's like, so the tree is kind of like out of bread. We need to leave or we're going to starve to death. And the uncle's like, well, I guess we have to. So they're on this journey. They stop. They have to cross the mountains, which is like the first step of their journey, to get into like the rest of the Munchkin town. Because, you know, in Oz, everyone is guaranteed to have a house. No one should starve. And so they're visiting this wizard, who it turns out is the wizard that Mombi went to visit in book number 2, where she got her powder of life, that brought Jack Pumpkinhead to life, that brought the Sawhorse to life, that brought the Gump to life. Unfortunately, Unk Nunky and also the wizard's wife got accidentally turned into marble statues. So sad. And the wizard's like, well, either I can spend 6 years making another batch of my powder of life to bring them back to life, or there's this other solution, but you need to travel like all over the Munchkin country and get these rare ingredients for me. And Ojo's like, well, I guess I'll try, won't I? Because otherwise 6 years is a really long time. He's taking with him the Patchwork Girl and the Glass Cat, who were both brought to life by this powder of life. Just wait 6 years. Well, the wizard, the magician, whatever he's called, he is getting started on the powder just in case Ojo fails. Meanwhile, these are like the first people aside from his uncle that Ojo's ever met. And as soon as he gets there, he finds out that he's called by other people who he's never even talked to other people, but other people know him as Ojo the Unlucky. And he's like, wait, what? I'm thrilled that this kid is getting out of the woods and hopefully makes some friends in Munchkinland. And like, honestly, Ojo, like, I know you love your uncle and that's great if you can bring him back to life, but like, you can do better than living in isolation with a man who won't speak to you or take care of you at all, even though you're a child. Like, you can do better than this. I just really want Ojo and Scraps and the Glass Cat to all find better lives. Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna take this off of screen while we're reading. But I did on Tuesday, so you might have to scroll up like a tiny bit, but I did post the board in the Stream Clips channel on the Discord if you want to look at it, but also you can just ask me to bring it up if you want to look at it again. So let me pin the comment on YouTube, and it's already pinned on Twitch. Thank you, Sean. Yeah, if you want to read along with me, that pinned comment has a link to Project Gutenberg where you can download or just open this in a tab if you want to read along. So there we go. There is the ramble, the pre-ramble, the Rambling Fours. We are starting, I think, chapter 6, maybe? Chapter 5 or 6. They're not actually numbered, so why don't we let that siren go by, though? We ramble here a lot. We ramble here a lot. I'm working on editing past VODs so that I can put them up as like basically audiobooks for you guys. But yeah, lots of little bits that I'm like, well, let's just clip that ramble out. It ends up condensing quite a bit. Let the horror commence. Alright. Okay, this chapter is called The Journey. Just... Good. Okay. Ambling versus rambling. A little bit of both, maybe. Okay. The Journey. Ojo had never traveled before, and so he only knew that the path down the mountainside led into the open Munchkin country, where large numbers of people dwelt. Scraps was quite new, and not supposed to know anything of the land of Oz, while the glass cat admitted she had never wandered very far away from the magician's house. There was only one path before them at the beginning, so they could not miss their way, and for a time they walked through the thick forest in silent thought, each one impressed with the importance of the adventure they had undertaken. Suddenly, the Patchwork Girl laughed. It was funny to see her laugh because her cheeks wrinkled up, her nose tipped, her silver eyes twinkled, and her mouth curled at the corners in a comical way. "Has something pleased you?" asked Ojo, who was feeling solemn and joyless through thinking upon his uncle's sad fate. "Yes," she answered, "your world pleases me, for it's a queer world, and life in it is queerer still. Here I am, made from an old bedquilt and intended to be a slave to Margalot, rendered free as air by an accident that none of you could foresee. I am enjoying life and seeing the world, while the woman who made me is standing helpless as a block of wood. If that isn't funny enough to laugh at, I don't know what is." I hope that voice will work. I'm like, how would like a scrap of cotton talk? "You're not seeing much of the world yet, my poor innocent Scraps," remarked the cat. "The world doesn't consist wholly of the trees that are on all sides of us." "But they're part of it, and aren't they pretty trees?" returned Scraps, bobbing her head until her brown yarn curls fluttered in the breeze. "Growing between them, I can see lovely ferns and wild flowers and soft green mosses. If the rest of your world is half as beautiful, I shall be glad I'm alive." "Well, I don't know what the rest of the world is like, I'm sure," said the cat, "but I mean to find out." "I've never been out of the forest," Ojo added, "but to me, the trees are gloomy and sad, and the wild flowers seem lonesome. It must be nicer where there are no trees, and there's room for lots of people to live together." "I wonder if any of the people we shall meet will be as splendid as I am," said the Patchwork Girl. "All I have seen so far have pale, colorless skins and clothes as blue as the country they live in, while I am of many gorgeous colors, face and body and clothes. That is why I am bright and contented, Ojo, while you are blue and sad." "I think I made a mistake in giving you so many sorts of brains," observed the boy. "Perhaps, as the magician said, you have an overdose, and they may not agree with you." "What had you to do with my brains?" asked Scraps. "Oh, a lot," replied Ojo. "Old Margalot meant to give you only a few, just enough to keep you going. But when she wasn't looking, I added a good many more, of the best kinds I could find in the magician's cupboard." "Thanks," said the girl, dancing along the path ahead of Ojo and then dancing back to his side. "Oh, if a few brains are good, many brains must be better." "But they ought to be evenly balanced," said the boy, "and I had no time to be careful. From the way you're acting, I guess the dose was badly mixed." "Scraps hasn't enough brains to hurt her, so don't worry," remarked the cat, which was trotting along in a very dainty and graceful manner. "The only brains worth considering are mine, which are pink. You can see 'em work." After walking a long time, they came to a little brook that trickled across the path, and here Ojo sat down to rest and eat something from his basket. He found that the magician had given him part of a loaf of bread and a slice of cheese. Didn't this magician have, like, a bunch of dessert trees and bushes? He had, like, food growing all around his house, like delicious. He had, like, a freaking cupcake bush, and he gives him just, like, part of a loaf of bread and a piece of cheese. Magician's an asshole. If I ever publish a book, I'm gonna tap you for the audiobook. Hell yeah. He gave them cheese, so it's okay. A slice of cheese. It's not even enough cheese for the amount of bread that he gave them, which is not even a whole loaf of bread. Anyway. He broke off some of the bread and was surprised to find the loaf. Oh, okay, hold on, I'm about to eat my words. He broke off some of the bread and was surprised to find the loaf just as large as it was before. It was the same way with the cheese. However much he broke off from the slice, it remained exactly the same size. Okay, my bad. My bad. We eat words here. He's doing some Jesus tricks on that food. "Ah," said he, nodding wisely. "That's magic. Dr. Pipt has enchanted the bread and the cheese, so it will last me all through my journey, however much I eat." "Why do you put those things into your mouth?" asked Scraps, gazing at him in astonishment. "Do you need more stuffing? Then why don't you use cotton, such as I am stuffed with?" "Well, I don't need that kind," said Ojo. "But a mouth is to talk with, isn't it?" "Well, it's also to eat with," replied the boy. "If I didn't put food into my mouth and eat it, I would get hungry and starve." "Oh, I didn't know that," she said. "Give me some." Ojo handed her a bit of the bread, and she put it in her mouth. "What next?" she asked, scarcely able to speak. "Chew it and swallow it," said the boy. Scraps tried that. Her pearl teeth were unable to chew the bread, and beyond her mouth there was no opening. Being unable to swallow, she threw away the bread and laughed. "Well, I must get hungry and starve, for I can't eat," she said. "Neither can I," announced the cat, "but I'm not fool enough to try. Can't you understand that you and I are superior people, and not made like these poor humans?" "Why should I understand that, or anything else?" asked the girl. "Don't bother my head by asking conundrums, I beg of you. Just let me discover myself in my own way." And with this, she began amusing herself by leaping across the brook and back again. Are you guys ready to see another horrific picture of the Patchwork Girl? Oh man, look, I have to admit, She's growing on me as a character. She seems very sweet. But the illustrator did her fucking dirty. Okay? Because this is terrifying. Yeah. Yeah, another picture. Just let that haunt your dreams. So, there you go. Yeah, it's a lot. That's why we already have horrors beyond comprehension checked off of our bingo board. Is because of the illustrator. Okay. This is so wrong. Well, be careful or you'll fall in the water, warned Ojo. Never mind. Well, you better. If you get wet, you'll get soggy and can't walk. Your colors might run too, he said. Well, don't my colors run whenever I run? She asked. Not in the way I mean. If they get wet, the reds and greens and yellows and purples of your patches might run into each other and become just a blur. No color at all, you know. Then, said the Patchwork Girl, I'll be careful, for if I spoiled my splendid colors, I would cease to be beautiful. Pah, sneered the Glass Cat. Such colors are not beautiful. They're ugly and in bad taste. Please notice that my body has no color at all. I'm transparent, except for my exquisite red heart and my lovely pink brains. You can see 'em work. Shoo, shoo, cried Scraps, dancing around and laughing. And your horrid green eyes, Miss Bungle. You can't see your eyes, but we can. And I notice you're very proud of what little color you have. Shoo, Miss Bungle, shoo. If you were all colors and many colors, as I am, you'd be too stuck up for anything. She leapt over the cat and back again, and the startled Bungle crept close to a tree to escape her. This made Scraps laugh more heartily than ever, and she said, Whoop-de-doodle-doo, the cat has lost her shoe. Her tootsie's bare, but she don't care, so what's the odds to you? Dear me, Ojo, said the cat. Don't you think the creature's a little bit crazy? It may be, he answered, with a puzzled look. Well, if she continues her insults, I'll scratch off her suspender-button eyes, declared the cat. Oh, don't quarrel, please, pleaded the boy, rising to resume the journey. Let us be good comrades, and as happy and cheerful as possible, for we are likely to meet with plenty of trouble on our way. Welcome in, and thank you for the follow. I'm the hottest man alive. Damn, that's quite an advertisement. I'm so thrilled to have the hottest man alive here for story time. Heck yeah. I've made it, you guys. I've really made it. Yeah, there's a lot of uncomfortable subtext in this, but honestly, I can't tell what L. Frank Baum's POV is on this, because I kind of love the way that Scraps loves herself, and she's saying like, oh, I'm so beautiful, look at all my pretty colors and everything. I don't know if this is going to be a story where L. Frank Baum is like actually saying like racism is bogus. Maybe he's gonna surprise us and be not an asshole. I don't know. But, it's a weird one so far, you guys. Okay. It was nearly sundown when they came to the edge of the forest and saw, spread out before them, a delightful landscape. There were broad blue fields stretching for miles over the valley, which was dotted everywhere with pretty blue domed houses, none of which, however, was very near to the place where they stood. Just at the point where the path left the forest stood a tiny house covered with leaves from the trees, and before this stood a munchkin man with an axe in his hand. He seemed very much surprised when Ojo and Scraps and the glass cat came out of the woods, but as the Patchwork Girl approached nearer, he sat down upon a bench and laughed so hard that he could not speak for a long time. This man was a woodchopper and lived all alone in the little house. He had bushy blue whiskers and merry blue eyes, and his blue clothes were quite old and worn. "Mercy me!" exclaimed the woodchopper, when at last he could stop laughing. "Well, who would think such a funny harlequin lived in the land of Oz? Where did you come from, Crazy Quilt?"
"Do you mean me?"
asked the Patchwork Girl.
"Well, of course,"
he replied.
"You misjudge my ancestry. I'm not a crazy quilt. I'm Patchwork," she said.
"Well, there's no difference," he replied, beginning to laugh again. "When my old grandmother sews such things together, she calls it a crazy quilt. But I never thought such a jumble could come to life." "It was the magic powder that did it," explained Ojo. "Oh, well then you've come from the crooked magician on the mountain. I might have known it, for, well, I declare, here is a glass cat. Oh, but the magician will get in trouble for this. It's against the law for anyone to work magic, except Glinda, the Good, and the Royal Wizard of Oz. Well, if you people, or things, or glass spectacles, or crazy quilts, or whatever you are, go near the Emerald City, you'll be arrested."
"We're going there anyhow,"
declared Scraps, sitting upon the bench and swinging her stuffed legs.
"If any of us takes a rest, we'll be arrested sure, and get no restitution, 'cause the rest we must endure."
"I see," said the woodchopper, nodding. "You're as crazy as the crazy quilt you're made of."
"She really is crazy," remarked the glass cat, "but that isn't to be wondered at when you remember how many different things she's made of. For my own part, I'm made of pure glass, except my jewel heart and my pretty pink brains. Did you notice my brains, stranger? You can see 'em work."
"So I can," replied the woodchopper. "Well, I can't see that they accomplish much. A glass cat is a useless sort of thing, but a Patchwork Girl is really useful. Well, she makes me laugh, and laughter is the best thing in life. Oh, there was once a woodchopper, a friend of mine, who was made all of tin. I used to laugh every time I saw him." Oh my god. Doesn't the subject... We are waiting to see. We are waiting to kind of see how Frank is going to play this out, like what his actual message is. Good night, Buddha. Thanks for hanging out. Good night, good night. Where did they get the brain? Did it say that the brains were made of like coral or something? She doesn't have flesh brains. Her heart is made of like a ruby. And her brain is like little pink like marbles or something that like spin in her head. But it's not like living brains, no. It's just like a visual representation of brains. Yeah, this dude's just like laughing at anyone who's made of different materials.
A tin wood chopper, said Ojo. That is strange.
Oh, my friend wasn't always tin, said the man, but he was careless with his axe and used to chop himself very badly. Whenever he lost an arm or a leg, he had it replaced with tin. So, after a while, he was all tin.
And could he chop wood then?
Asked the boy. Well, he could if he didn't rust his tin joints. But one day he met Dorothy in the forest and went with her to the Emerald City, where he made his fortune. Well, he's now one of the favorites of Princess Ozma, and she's made him Emperor of the Winkies, the country where all is yellow.
Who is Dorothy? Inquired the Patchwork Girl.
Oh, a little maid who used to live in Kansas, but is now a Princess of Oz. She's Ozma's best friend, they say, and lives with her in the royal palace.
Is Dorothy made of tin? Inquired Ojo. Is she patchwork? Like me? Inquired Scraps.
No, said the man. Dorothy's flesh, just as I am. I know of only one tin person, and that is Nick Chopper, the Tin Woodman. And there will never be but one Patchwork Girl, for any magician that sees you will refuse to make another one like you.
Well, I suppose we shall see the Tin Woodman, for we are going to the country of the Winkies, said the boy.
What for?
Asked the woodchopper. To get the left wing of a yellow butterfly.
Oh, it is a long journey, declared the man, and you will go through lonely parts of Oz and cross rivers and traverse dark forests before you get there.
Suits me all right, said Scraps. I'll get a chance to see the country.
You're a crazy girl. Better crawl into a rag bag and hide there, or give yourself some little girl to play with. Those who travel are likely to meet trouble. That's why I stay at home.
The woodchopper then invited them all to stay the night at his little hut, but they were anxious to get on, and so left him, and continued along the path, which was broader now, and more distinct. They expected to reach some other house before it grew dark, but the twilight was brief, and Ojo soon began to fear they had made a mistake in leaving the woodchopper. I can scarcely see the path, he said at last. Can you see it, Scraps? No, replied the Patchwork Girl, who was holding fast to the boy's arm so he could guide her. I can see, declared the Glass Cat. My eyes are better than yours, and my pink brains. Never mind your pink brains, please, said Ojo hastily. Just run ahead and show us the way. Wait a minute, I'll tie a string to you, for then you can lead us. He got a string from his pocket and tied it around the cat's neck, and after that, the creature guided them along the path. They had proceeded in this way for about an hour, when a twinkling blue light appeared ahead of them. Oh, good! There's a house at last, cried Ojo. When we reach it, all the good people will surely welcome us and give us a night's lodging. But however far they walked, the light seemed to get no nearer. So by and by the cat stopped short, saying, I think the light is traveling too, and we shall never be able to catch up with it. But, well, here is a house by the roadside, so why go farther? Where's the house, Bungle? Oh. Where's the house, Bungle? Well, just here beside us, Scraps. Ojo was now able to see a small house near the pathway. It was dark and silent, but the boy was tired and wanted to rest, so he went up to the door and knocked.
Well, who was there?
Cried a voice from within. I'm Ojo the Unlucky, and with me are Miss Scraps, Patchwork, and the Glass Cat, he replied.
Don't introduce yourself as Ojo the Unlucky. Who's gonna invite that person into their house? Like, you don't have to do that.
What do you want? Asked the voice. A place to sleep? Said Ojo.
Well, come in then, but don't make any noise. You must go directly to bed, returned the voice. Ojo unlatched the door and entered. It was very dark inside, and he could see nothing at all. But the cat exclaimed, "Why, there's no one here." "Well, there must be," said the boy. "Someone spoke to me." "Well, I can see everything in the room," replied the cat, "and no one is present but ourselves. But here are 3 beds, all made up, so we may as well go to sleep." "What is sleep?" inquired the Patchwork Girl. "That's what you do when you go to bed," said Ojo. "But why do you go to bed?" persisted the Patchwork Girl. Sorry, I'm still, like, not sure what kind of voice I should be giving this voice. This is one of the problems of doing cold reads as opposed to, like, if you're doing an actual, like, professional audiobook, you read it ahead of time so you can choose, like, what all the voices are gonna be. I don't even know if this should be, like, a man voice or a lady voice. Okay. Ambiguous it is.
"Here, here, you're making all together. Too much noise,"
cried the voice they had heard before.
"Keep quiet, strangers. Go to bed."
The cat, which could see in the dark, looked sharply around for the owner of the voice, but could discover no one, although the voice had seemed close beside them. She arched her back a little and seemed afraid. Then she whispered to Ojo, "Come," and led him to a bed. With his hands, the boy felt of the bed and found it was big and soft, with feather pillows and plenty of blankets. So he took off his shoes and hat and crept into the bed. Then the cat led Scraps to another bed, and the Patchwork Girl was puzzled to know what to do with it. "Lie down and keep quiet," whispered the cat warningly.
"Can't I sing?"
asked Scraps.
"No." "Can't I whistle?" asked Scraps. "No." "Can't I dance till morning if I want to?" asked Scraps. "You must keep quiet," said the cat in a soft voice. "Oh, I don't want to," replied the Patchwork Girl, speaking as loudly as usual. "What right have you to order me around? If I want to talk or yell or whistle—" Before she could say anything more, an unseen hand seized her firmly and threw her out of the door, which closed behind her with a sharp slam. She found herself bumping and rolling in the road, and when she got up again and tried to open the door of the house, she found it locked. The house is a mimic. Well, I was thinking the house was the one talking, but the fact that, like, invisible hands grabbed her, I'm not sure anymore. "Well, what has happened to Scraps?" asked Ojo. "Never mind. Let's go to sleep, or something will happen to us," answered the glass cat. So Ojo snuggled down in his bed and fell asleep, and he was so tired that he never wakened until broad daylight. Alright, got a couple of pictures to show ya. Invisible hands. The house has no manners. I mean, they are strangers that came in and pounded on the door and then were loud. I kind of love how proud the cat is of her brains. This cat is much better than the last cat, Eureka. Eureka was awful. Sorry, I meant to show you pictures. Oh, lordy. Okay, here's, Patchwork Girl getting dumped outside the house. And here is
our glass cat. Isn't this like the same illustration that was earlier in the book? Anyway, you can kind of see the brains in her head, these little marbly balls. Yeah. You can see them work. That's a line burned into your memory from your mom. My brains are pink and you can see them work. You can see them work when I think. Oh, I wonder if she got it from this. I've never heard that line before. An invisible bear. Well, that's a different fairyland. That's the Valley of Rue? Was it the Valley of Rue? The Valley of something. The Orchard Valley with all the invisible bears. The invisible man-eating bears. Everyone in Oz is so mean. I know, but they pretend that they're nice. They're like, wow, we're all so nice and we value being kind, but then they're just bitches to each other. Hi, Zen. Good to see you. You hope she stays female? Wait. Scraps? Or the class cat? Brains. Scraps? Oh, I'm glad you like the voice. Yeah, you know, we've only had one character actually changing genders. And that's Ozma. And then Belina got, you know, forced to feminize her name, but she didn't actually change genders. But yeah, that's another reason why we have L. Frank Baum, like, dead naming and misgendering people. Because when Ozma was a baby, she got, like, smuggled and sold or given to old Mombi the witch, who turned Ozma into a boy and raised her as, like, her servant, and named her Tip. In book number 2, you're, like, on a voyage with Tip, the boy. And then Glinda's like, oh my god, you're actually Ozma in disguise. And Tip is like, I actually really enjoy being a boy. Can I stay a boy? And she's like, no. And he's like, well, if you turn me into a girl and I don't like it, can I change back into a boy? And she's like, no. And doesn't let Ozma stay. Like, it could have been like, you're the same person and just be like, Prince Tip. Nope. Not allowed. Not allowed. Okay. Next chapter, which I want to say might be like chapter 7. I don't know. The Troublesome Phonograph. Okay. When the boy opened his eyes next morning, he looked carefully around the room. These small munchkin houses seldom had more than one room in them. That in which Ojo now found himself had 3 beds, set all in a row on one side of it. The glass cat lay asleep on one bed, Ojo was in the second, and the third was neatly made up and smoothed for the day. On the other side of the room was a round table on which breakfast was already placed, smoking hot. Only one chair was drawn up to the table, where a place was set for one person. No one seemed to be in the room, except the boy and Bungle. Ojo got up and put on his shoes. Finding a toilet stand at the head of his bed, he washed his face and hands and brushed his hair. Then he went to the table and said, I wonder if this is my breakfast. Eat it, commanded a voice at his side, so near that Ojo jumped, but no person could he see. Hi, Cassiax, good to see you. The cat can sleep. I don't know if the cat is sleeping. Oh yeah, it said lay asleep. I guess so, which is weird because the other powder of life creatures don't sleep. Maybe napping is just so essential to a cat that they like couldn't take that. Yeah, it's a cat, of course. It's kind of like how her eyes aren't physically cat eyes, they're just like gems, but she can see in the dark because she's a cat. Yeah, I don't know. He was hungry and the breakfast looked good, so he sat down and ate all he wanted. Then, rising, he took his hat and wakened the glass cat. "Come on, Bungle," said he. "We must go." He cast another glance about the room and, speaking to the air, he said, "Whoever lives here has been kind to me, and I'm much obliged." There was no answer, so he took his basket and went out the door, the cat following him. In the middle of the path sat the Patchwork Girl, playing with pebbles she had picked up.
"Oh, there you are," she exclaimed cheerfully. "I thought you were never coming out. It's been daylight a long time."
"What did you do all night?" asked the boy. Low-key, thank you for the 100 biddies. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay, I gotta say, like, yes, Scraps is, like, a bit much sometimes. Just, she's a high-energy person. But overall, this is kind of becoming, like, one of my favorite gangs to wander around Oz with. Like, Ojo is just, like, a good boy. Do you know what I mean? Like, he's got manners, he's kind, he's thoughtful, he's, you know, he's not weird. Like, he's just seems like a good kid. The cat is, like, sassy, but not too much. And Scraps, although she is sometimes a bit much, is also, like, you know, kind and positive. Like, they're just, yeah. We've just had some really annoying characters over this series, and I'm really glad that these aren't more annoying. Okay. Yeah. "What did you do all night?" asked the boy.
"Sat here and watched the stars and the moon," she replied. "They're interesting. I never saw them before, you know."
"Well, of course not," said Ojo.
"You were crazy to act so badly and get thrown outdoors," remarked Bungle as they renewed their journey. "That's all right," said Scraps. "If I hadn't been thrown out, I wouldn't have seen the stars, nor the big gray wolf."
"What wolf?" inquired Ojo.
"The one that came to the door of the house 3 times during the night."
"I don't know why that should be," said the boy thoughtfully. "There was plenty to eat in that house, for I had a fine breakfast, and I slept in a nice bed."
"Don't you feel tired?"
asked the Patchwork Girl, noticing that the boy yawned. "Why, yes, I'm as tired as I was last night, and yet I slept very well."
"And aren't you hungry?"
"What's strange," replied Ojo. "I had a good breakfast, and yet I think I'll now eat some of my crackers and cheese." Scraps danced up and down the path, and then she sang,
"Kissel Castle Core, the wolf is at the door. There's nothing to eat but a bone without, and a bill from the grocery store."
"What does that mean?" asked Ojo.
"Oh, don't ask me," replied Scraps. "I say what comes into my head, but of course I know nothing of a grocery store or bones without meat or very much else."
"No," said the cat. "She's stark, staring, raving crazy, and her brains can't be pink, for they don't work properly."
"Oh, bother the brains," cried Scraps. "Who cares for 'em anyhow? Have you noticed how beautiful my patches are in this sunlight?"
Senor Feo? You're Ultraman? Am I saying that right? Feo? It's good to see you. How are you? He hasn't been around enough other beings to know that being nice isn't normal in Oz, yeah. Mr. Ugly, is that what that means? That's quite a name change to go from Ultraman to Mr. Ugly. Like that's quite a quite a change. Are you doing okay? Is everything all right? That feels like a large drop in confidence there. I hate Wheel. Oh my goodness, thank you for that 255 stream streak. Holy freaking moly. Oh my goodness. Hi, how are you? And Rich. Hi, Rich. Good to see you. Alright. I'm doing alright, Rich. How are you doing? Just then, they heard a sound as of footsteps pattering along the path behind them, and all three turned to see what was coming. To their astonishment, they beheld a small... Sorry. They beheld... No, just as I was saying their group was okay. They beheld a small round table running as fast as its 4 spindle legs could carry it, and to the top was screwed fast a phonograph with a big gold horn. No, I don't want them to travel with the phonograph that came to life. That's so annoying. That's so freaking annoying. Driving home from work. Sounds good. Drive safe. Dude, I was just... It's the fat man with the harmonica guns. Oh, didn't I give him like a really like, I'm a phonograph? Like, damn it. Like, Frank cannot give me a break. Oh my god. Okay. And here he is, galumphing after them. He was an old man phonograph. Damn. Oh. Alright. He doesn't have a face. This is okay, so not to be a dummy stupid head. The little like reactions over on YouTube, like the YouTube chat, like the little hearts and smileys and everything, those are just like free to use reactions, is that correct? Like you can just kind of spam them whenever you want, and it's just like, that's really cute. I feel like, because I see them out of the corner of my eye, because I do have like a multi-chat set up in OBS right in front of me, but I also have the YouTube chat like out the corner of my eye, and I can see them like going up, and it's like, it's a lovely little dopamine boost to see that. I feel like Twitch is like lacking on that. Like obviously Twitch has the better like emote game overall. But then those are like in chat. These just become ephemeral and kind of vaporize, you know, so it's not like creating like clutter or anything. That's cute. Okay. Just want to let you guys know. I can see it out of the corner of my eye. It's super cute and appreciated. Alright. Alright, let's see. Hold on. Wait, how did I do his voice? Hold on, shouted the phonograph. Wait for me!
Oh, goodness me. It's that music thing that the crooked magician scattered the powder of life over, said Ojo. So it is, returned Bungle in a grumpy tone of voice. And then, as the phonograph overtook them, the glass cat added sternly, What are you doing here, anyhow?
Well, I've run away, said the music thing.
Hey.
Sorry. Nimbus, I need you to take it down a notch. She's being a problem pig. Problem pig. Nimbus! Don't make me put you in horny jail. Okay, hate whale sounds good. And those 1,000-yard stare eyes is a sex pest. I was thinking about it because she used to just like go into heat like once a month kind of thing. It's been a lot. I think it might be something different happening. I think it might be the Cloud is fairly old and that they may be kind of, that Nim is trying to muscle her way up in the pecking order between them. You know? Because it's kind of like, it's a dominance thing, right? I think that, because Nim is now an adult, and Cloud is like an old lady. And Cloud, because I got Nim when she was a tiny little baby. And Cloud was already an adult, so Cloud has always been the boss bitch. But Cloud is getting old, and I think it might be a little power struggle going on. You heading to bed, Fitch? Okay. Thanks for hanging out, Fitch. Thank you. Have a good night. Cloud is top pig. I don't want to think about Cloud getting old, but she's an old lady. She's an old lady now. Yeah. Honestly, Cloud is coming up on like 6 years old, which is an estimation because I adopted her when I adopted her, they said she was 3, and whether that's like 3, almost 4, or like just 3, I don't really know. But I adopted her on New Year's Day a few years ago, so yeah. Okay, all right. Let's get back to this annoying phonograph. What's their lifespan? Like 5 to 7 years. Yeah. I can't dwell on that or I'll just start crying. Okay. She still has a lot of spunk, so I'm just hoping we get a good amount of time left with her. Okay. Well, I've run away, said the music thing. Sorry, it's so tonally jarring. Well, after you left. Wait. How do I like. I want it to be like trumpeting out. Well, after you. Fucking hate the Wizard of Oz books. So many stupid voices. Well, after you left, old Dr. Pipped and I had a dreadful quarrel, and he threatened to smash me to pieces if I didn't keep quiet. Well, of course, I wouldn't do that, because a talking machine is supposed to talk and make a noise, and sometimes music. So I slipped out of the house when the magician was stirring his 4 kettles, and I've been running after you all night. Wait, should the phonograph be more like formal? Or more like casual, you know? Should he be like posh, or he should be a fornicator? They play music, yeah. Yeah. It's similar to a gramophone. You know, the big, like, well, we saw the picture of him. You picture old and stuck up better than you. An old radio announcer voice. I don't know if I can do that. It's a good idea. Yakanono. Hello. When I had a dreadful quarrel and he threatened to smash me to pieces. Well, I don't know. We'll figure it out. So I slipped out of the house while the magician was stirring his 4 kettles, and I've been running after you all night. Now that I've found such pleasant company, I can talk and play tunes all I want to. You could sing all his parts? No, that's not gonna happen. Ojo was greatly annoyed by this unwelcome addition to their party. I knew I liked Ojo. At first he did not know what to say to the newcomer, but a little thought decided him not to make friends. We are traveling on important business, he declared. And you'll excuse me if I say we can't be bothered. How very impolite. Yeah, I feel like he should maybe be like, should we make him like slightly British? How very impolite, exclaimed the phonograph. Oh, I'm sorry, but it's true, said the boy. You'll have to go somewhere else. Well, this is very unkind treatment, I must say, whined the phonograph in an injured tone. Everyone seems to hate me, and yet I was intended to amuse people.
Well, it isn't you we hate especially, observed the glass cat. It's your dreadful music. When I lived in the same room with you, I was much annoyed by your squeaky horn. It growls and grumbles and clicks and scratches, so it spoils the music, and your machinery rumbles so that the racket drowns every tune you attempt.
That isn't my fault. It's the fault of my records. I must admit I haven't a clear record, answered the machine.
Well, just the same, you'll have to go away, said Ojo. Wait a minute, cried Scraps. This music thing interests me. I remember to have heard music when I first came to life, and I would like to hear it again. What is your name, my poor abused phonograph?
A scratchy voice? Okay.
Victor Columbia Edison,
it answered.
Well, I shall call you Vic for short, said the Patchwork Girl. Go ahead and play something. It'll drive you crazy, warned the cat. Well, I'm crazy now, according to your statement. Loosen up and reel out the music, Vic.
Well, the only record I have with me,
explained the phonograph,
is one the magician attached just before we had our quarrel. It was a highly classical composition.
A what? Inquired Scraps.
It is classical music, and it is considered the best and most puzzling ever manufactured. You're supposed to like it, whether you do or not, and if you don't, the proper thing is to look as if you did. Understand?
Not in the least, said Scraps.
Then listen.
At once the machine began to play, and in a few minutes Ojo put his hands to his ears to shut out the sounds, and the cat snarled, and Scraps began to laugh. I do need to have like a paper towel tube. That would be a good idea. I don't know if I have one.
Cut it out, Vic, she said. That's enough.
But the phonograph continued playing the dreary tune. So Ojo seized the crank, jerked it free, and threw it into the road. However, the moment the crank struck the ground, it bounded back to the machine again and began winding it up. And still, the music played. Thanks for the follow, pre-cut juggler. Hello. Hi, Dot.
Let's run,
cried Scraps, and they all started and ran down the path as fast as they could go. But the phonograph was right behind them and could run and play at the same time. It called out reproachfully,
What's the matter? Don't you love classical music?
No, Vic,
said Scraps, halting.
we will passicle the classical and preserve what joy we have left. I haven't any nerves, thank goodness, but your music makes my cotton shrink.
Then turn over my record. There's a ragtime tune on the other side,
said the machine.
What's ragtime?
The opposite of classical.
All right,
said Scraps, and turned over the record. The phonograph now began to play a jerky jumble of sounds, which proved so bewildering that after a moment, Scraps stuffed her patchwork apron into the gold horn and cried, Stop! Stop! That's the other extreme. It's extremely bad. I felt sure Scraps was going to like ragtime. I thought it was going to be like a scrappy rag pun. Muffled as it was, the phonograph played on. If you don't shut off that music, I'll smash your record, threatened Ojo. The music stopped at that, and the machine turned its horn from one to the other and said, with great indignation,
What's the matter now? Is it possible you can't appreciate ragtime?
Scraps ought to, being rags herself, said the cat. But I simply can't stand it. It makes my whiskers curl.
Oh, it is indeed dreadful, exclaimed Ojo with a shudder.
It's enough to drive a crazy lady mad, murmured the Patchwork Girl. I'll tell you what, Vic, she added as she smoothed out her apron and put it on again. For some reason or other, you've missed your guess. You're not a concert. You're a nuisance.
Damn, okay.
Music hath charms to soothe the savage breast,
asserted the phonograph sadly.
Then we're not savages. I advise you to go home and beg the magician's pardon.
Never. He'd smash me.
Well, that's what we shall do if you stay here, Ojo declared. Jesus. Like, I don't like the phonograph either, but like, they're so mean. This is what I mean about like everyone in Oz is an asshole. Oh my god.
Run along, Vic, and bother someone else, advised Scraps. Find someone who is real wicked and stay with him till he repents. In that way you can do some good in the world.
Like, we're seeing the birth of a villain here. The music thing turned silently away. The music thing. And trotted down a side path toward a distant Munchkin village.
Is that the way we go?
Asked Bungle anxiously.
No, said Ojo. I think we shall keep straight ahead, for this path is the widest and best. When we come to some houses, we will inquire the way to the Emerald City.
End of chapter. Oh, you know he's coming back into the story later, though, and I bet he's gonna come back and want revenge. Or they'll learn the meaning of kindness. I don't know. They're really honest. That's what it is. Oh my god. So again, I'm not sure if that counts as being rude for no reason. They're being rude, but they have reasons. He's just trying to live his best life. Are we doing the bingos? We are doing the bingos. We are. They definitely had reasons, yeah. I guess we should read another chapter. We have muscle through this. The Foolish Owl and the Wise Donkey. Hi, Banana, welcome back. Oh, you're home here, right on. But you didn't notice I was gone. I felt like there was a banana-shaped hole in my life. Welcome back. Welp. On they went, and half an hour's steady walking brought them to a house somewhat better than the two they had already passed. It stood close to the roadside, and over the door was a sign that read, Miss Foolish Owl and Mr. Wise Donkey, public advisors. When Ojo read this sign aloud, Scraps said laughingly,
Well, here's a place to get all the advice we want. Maybe more than we need. Let's go in.
The boy knocked at the door.
Come in,
Said a deep bass voice. Hooters and asses? Yeah. Don't even clip that one. That was just a foot in mouth situation. So they opened the door and entered the house, where a little light brown donkey, dressed in a blue apron and a blue cap, was engaged in dusting the furniture with a blue cloth. On a shelf over the window sat a great blue owl with a blue sunbonnet on her head, blinking her big round eyes at the visitors.
Good morning,
said the donkey in his deep voice, which seemed bigger than he was.
Did you come to us for advice?
Why, we came, anyhow, replied Scraps. And now we're here. We might as well have some advice. It's free, isn't it?
Certainly, said the donkey. Advice doesn't cost anything, unless you follow it. Permit me to say, by the way, that you are the queerest lot of travelers that ever came to my shop. Judging you merely by appearances, I think you'd better talk to the foolish owl yonder.
Oh no, I'm so bad at owl voices. Every time there's an owl character, I suck at it. They turned to look at the bird, which fluttered its wings and stared back at them with his big eyes. No. 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 Hurty-hurty-hur, cried the owl. Fiddle-cum-foo, howdy-do, riddle-cum, tiddle-cum, tooraloo. That beats your poetry, Scraps, said Ojo. Can I show you guys this poem? There's a lot of cum in it. Oh, Lord. Why, Frank? Why? Why? Like, why is there so much cum in this poem? Why have you done this to us? Oh, okay. It has no meaning in this. That word does have another meaning. This is just a nonsense rhyme. It means nothing here. No, okay, real talk, it does have another meaning where something like functions as something else. If there was a stand where you could buy hot dogs and also get your shoes shined, it could be called like a hot dog stand come shoe shiner booth. That's not even like using it how we use it in Latin, like summa cum laude. Like it can't be. In this means nothing. This is just nonsense syllables. So it doesn't have that meaning either. Oh my god, none good. That's crazy. That's crazy. Okay.
That beats your poetry, Scraps, said Ojo.
It's just nonsense, declared the glass cat. Okay, this glass cat is the best. I keep saying things and then she says the same thing. She's great.
But it's good advice for the foolish, said the donkey admiringly. Listen to my partner, and you can't go wrong, said the owl in a grumbling voice. Oh, Patchwork Girl is come to life, no one's sweetheart, no one's wife. Lacking sense and loving fun, she'll be snubbed by everyone. Quite a compliment, I declare,
exclaimed the donkey, turning to look at Scraps.
You are certainly a wonder, my dear, and I fancy you'd make a splendid pincushion. If you belonged to me, I'd wear smoked glasses when I looked at you.
Why? Asked the Patchwork Girl.
Because you are so gay and gaudy.
It is my beauty that dazzles you, she asserted. You munchkin people all strut around in your stupid blue color, while I...
You are wrong in calling me a munchkin, interrupted the donkey, for I was born in the land of Mo, and came to visit the land of Oz on the day it was shut off from all the rest of the world. So here I am obliged to stay, and I confess it is a very pleasant country to live in.
Hooty hoot,
cried the owl.
Ojo's searching for a charm, 'cause Unc-Nunkies come to harm. Charms are scarce, they're hard to get. Ojo's got a job, you bet.
Is the owl so very foolish? Asked the boy.
Extremely so, replied the donkey. Notice what vulgar expressions she uses. But I admire the owl for the reason that she is positively foolish. Owls are supposed to be so very wise, generally, that a foolish one is unusual, and you perhaps know that anything or anyone unusual is sure to be interesting to the wise.
The owl flapped its wings again, muttering these words.
It's hard to be a glassy cat. No cat can be more hard than that. She's so transparent, every act is clear to us, and that's a fact. Have you noticed my pink brains? Inquired Bungle proudly. You can see 'em work.
Not in the daytime, said the donkey. She can't see very well by day, poor thing. But her advice is excellent. I advise you all to follow it.
Well, the owl hasn't given us any advice as yet, the boy declared.
No?
What do you call all those sweet poems?
Well, just foolishness, replied Ojo. Scraps does the same thing.
Foolishness, of course. To be sure, the foolish owl must be foolish, or she wouldn't be the foolish owl. You are very complimentary to my partner indeed,
asserted the donkey, rubbing his front hoofs together as if highly pleased.
The sign says that you are wise, remarked Scraps to the donkey. I wish you would prove it.
With great pleasure, returned the beast. Put me to the test, my dear Patches, and I'll prove my wisdom in the wink of an eye.
What is the best way to get to the Emerald City? Asked Ojo.
Walk,
said the donkey. I know, but what road shall I take? Was the boy's next question.
The road of yellow bricks, of course. It leads directly to the Emerald City.
And how shall we find the road of yellow bricks?
By keeping along the path you have been following. You'll come to the yellow bricks pretty soon, and you'll know them when you see them, because they're the only yellow things in the blue country.
Thank you, said the boy. At last you've told me something.
Is that the extent of your wisdom?
Asked Scraps.
No, replied the donkey. I know many other things, but they wouldn't interest you, so I'll give you a last word of advice. Move on, for the sooner you do that, the sooner you'll get to the Emerald City of Oz.
Hooty-tooty-tooty-too,
screeched the owl.
Off you go, fast or slow, where you're going you don't know. Patches, bungle, munchkin lad, facing fortunes good and bad, meeting dangers grave and sad, sometimes worried, sometimes glad. Where you're going you don't know, nor do I, but off you go. Sounds like a hint to me,
said the Patchwork Girl. Then let's take it and go, replied Ojo. They said goodbye to the wise donkey and the foolish owl, and at once resumed their journey. I swear to God, these books are harder on my throat than anything else we read. Want to see some pictures? There we go. Owl and the donkey. Here's the donkey again. Oh, Loki, thank you for the 100 bits. You have amazing range. Thank you. It's, oh God, there's the donkey again. Christ. And there's the owl. Okay. Let me see something. Okay, we've been reading for just under an hour and a half. How are you guys feeling? Do we want to squeeze another chapter in? Do we want to put the reading on ice for the night? An owl with a bonnet? Yeah. I mean, it kind of defeats one of the whole purposes of owls, which is their amazing, like, 360 vision, but, you know, sure, why not? Yeah, that donkey puts the ass in glasses, for sure. You find it funny how the wise donkey essentially be trolling, putting up with the foolish owl. They're both just, I mean, he did tell them about the yellow brick road, which honestly the wizard should have done, but when you ask if we want to see the pictures, can you just go ahead and assume our answer is no? Well, but I want to force you to see them, because I have to see them, and I want you all to share in the horrors. I don't want to be alone in witnessing them. You just got here and you're concerned. Hi, Artax. Yeah, share the pain. Share the load. What do you guys think? One more chapter, or we put the reading to bed for the night? The next chapter is kind of long looking, but... Oh, wow. Yeah, the next chapter is long. Thank you, Tyra. Thank you, thank you. I hope you're doing well as well. You'd love another chapter, but you need sleep. I hear ya. Why don't we end the reading? Yeah, the next one is big. Yeah, let's preserve my throat. The next chapter is called They Meet the Woozy, and I think it's a bit of a doozy. So, okay, I don't know if we checked anything off of our bingo board tonight. What do we think? Maybe not. Again, there's some things that I think, you know, we can make an argument for. But yeah. Owl? What about owl? Bodily autonomy? Which part? Queer under... Okay, Baum uses the words queer and gay a lot. We can't use that for the queer undertones. I'm more talking about, like, the scene where the scarecrow and the private, you know, or, like, the scarecrow and the Tin Man. Ojo yanked off the phonograph's crank. True. True. Yeah. Yeah, I guess that could... Or this... Look, the scarecrow just likes to get stuffed. Okay. Stupid, sexy scare. I mean, honestly, it's Nick Chopper. Nick Chopper's the real babe. Well, let's be honest. No. No. I want the, there we go. Oh. Okay. Yay. Okay. Why have you done this, Canva? There we go. Yeah, Nick Chopper likes to get lubed and buffed, and the Scarecrow likes to get stuffed. We had those as bingo boards on the last Oz book that we read. Okay. Alright, well this was something. This was really something. May I say, I do enjoy experiencing the horrors with you guys. Also, if you're looking for, like, better literature, then keep an eye on this YouTube channel, regardless of Frank Baum dropping else, because I am working on... I've actually got a couple more chapters of Carmilla pretty much ready to upload, so they will be coming out. I don't even have, like, a schedule that I've decided on. I'm like, every other day? I don't know. Anyways, they're going to be coming out steadily. And, oh my god. Fucking Carmilla is, yeah, the lesbian vampire book. And it somehow, like, it surprised me all over again how freaking steamy it gets. For such an old... Anyways, I highly recommend it. It's very, very good. 2 chapters are out now. The 2nd chapter came out this morning. You liked and commented on the Carmilla vids? It would be super cool if more people did. That would be awesome. If you guys, look, if you are able and are interested to watch them, then dropping a like, a comment does really help out. I also am aware that the kind of content that I'm doing for this channel, it isn't one where it's like every single video is like, oh, I hope this one goes viral. You know, if I'm like uploading like chapter 4 of a book, do you know what I mean? But then it's like there, so if someone in the future is like, I wonder if I can find like a free reading of Carmilla, and they type it in, my playlist will come up, you know? So yeah, it's kind of like a building a stockpile of things that could be listened to at whatever time. But yes, it is very helpful at this time, like when I'm trying to hit those like watch hours and everything. But I basically, I don't want to stress you guys out and like put like gross pressure where it's like, oh, it's like a job, I have to... You get it. It's all appreciated, but it's not like expected. But yeah, one of the most, if you're someone that's like, I really want to like help out, but you don't want to like go out of your way, then just like when we're doing these live streams, if you've got the YouTube window open, that counts towards watch hours. So if you're going to be like listening anyways, then that's a great way to help. But again, do whatever you want. Feel like, you know, we'll get there eventually. So search, I would like to know what it would be like if a vampire read a raunchy vampire book. Wait, if a dragon read a raunchy vampire book. Dude, it's not even like it's not raunchy. It's like smoldering. Yeah. Okay. Alright, we are gonna say goodbye on the YouTube side. You added Carmilla to your playlist? Hell yeah. I need to make a playlist to put those videos into. Yeah. Yeah. But thank you. But genuinely, you guys, it is such a good book. It's such a good book. Pretty sure that's just how women acted back then. Trailing her hot kisses down the other girl's throat and saying, press me harder. I don't know. I mean, anyway, check it out. It's a really good story. And there will be another chapter coming out, like, I don't know, tomorrow. So yeah, it's just gals being pals, though. Yeah, exactly. Okay, YouTube, thank you to everyone who watched over on YouTube. If you are finding this later by happenstance, I mainly stream over on Twitch. I've been over there for the last few years. You can find my entire streams over there, where I also do cozy chatting and traditional ASMR content and cozy sleep content and such. And you can also find here on YouTube, I've got a separate YouTube channel that's this one is at Faolkor, the other one's at Faolkor ASMR. So really easy to find. It's also like linked in my bio on this YouTube channel. So but yeah, if you want to hang out for a little bit longer, we're going to keep going on Twitch for a little while. I'm not sure how long, but for a little bit more. Otherwise, I will be back on this YouTube channel on Sunday night. We will be reading more of this horrendous book from Oz. we'll be muscling through a few more chapters and seeing what other horrors L. Frank Baum can commit. But yes, I'll see you later. Have a good night. We'll keep going over on Twitch.